morning, students. We are discussing on water resource engineering and hydrology. We are discussing on floods. In today's lecture, we will discuss about some flood mitigations. Well, flood mitigations aim at attempts to modify the flood, to modify the susceptibility to flood damage, and also modify the loss burden and bearing the loss or living with the floods. Well, the various methods of flood control, or we can say the flood mitigations and the reduction of flood damage can be classified under a few categories that depends on the attempts that made to solve that flood problem. And that flood mitigations are classified as structural mitigation and non-structural mitigation. Well, starting with the first one, that is the structural mitigations. The first, that is the storage reservoir. Well, it is the most effective measures of flood disaster mitigation. The modern reservoirs are mostly construction as a multi-purpose. Okay, so the aim of reservoir is to store the excess water during the flood period and also release it when the flood subsides. Generally, the reservoirs are formed on the upstream of the area to be protected of the river. While the flood control reservoirs may be classified into two subtypes, that the first one, that is the detention reservoir. Well, the detention reservoirs are provided with the outlets and the spillway with the adjustable gates, which are operated according to the conditions of the downstream area. The detention reservoirs for the flood control differs from conservation reservoirs only in this respect that the former need a larger sluiceway capacity to permit the rapid drawdown in advance of or the after the flood. The next type of reservoir, that is the retarding reservoir. While these are provided with fixed ungated outlets which automatically regulate the outflow in accordance with the volume of water in storage. While the size and the number of outlets are kept in such a way that the peak flood flow is retarded and it takes much time to discharge the flood storage water completely. So this is about the structural mitigation as a storage reservoir. Now the next structural mitigation, that is the levees, or we can say the embankment. Well, so by confining the river flow with the use of embankment, that generally known as the levees. Well, a leve is an earth embankment. It is a sort of an earthen dam that is constructed along the river. In general, the levees should satisfy the criteria of earth dam. The construction of levees is more common than the flood walls, as it is more economical and also convenient. Then the section of leaves is generally homogeneous because suitable core material is rarely available, and the material then placed is in layers and then properly compacted. So as far as possible, there should be a very few curves in the alignment of the leaves. Well, the second mitigation, structural mitigation, that is the channel improvement works. Well, the channel improvement work as a flood control measures can be used to reduce the river stage at a specific point of reach. Okay. The flood stage of any section can be substantially reduced by improving the hydraulic capacity of the river. Well, this channel improvement increase the discharge capacity of the river by increasing the flow area and by decreasing the surface roughness. So that channel improvement, that is, can be done by increasing the channel section, by realignment of the river, then also by doing straightening the meandering type of river, then by increasing the waterway at the crossings. So these are the methods by which we can improve the capacity of the river as well as that particular channel. Well, the next that is the diversion headworks. The floodways are the vast depression into which a portion of the flood water diverted from the river through a natural or the artificial channel. And the floodways store a portion of the flood water during the peak flood period, and thus it decreases the discharge in the main channel of the river. Thus, the floodways create a large shallow reservoir which store a portion of the flood water, and they provide an additional outlet for the water, and hence it increases the velocity. While diversion headworks are constructed at a place where the flood disaster are likely to occur. Okay, a diversion channel with a regular upstream of the important area that is constructed, and the important area is placed on the convex side of the river where the erosion are possible. The diversion channel decreases the stage of flood near the important area, and thereby possible flood disaster may be reduced. The next that is the flood walls. Flood walls are used in developed area where it is difficult to obtain enough land for construction of levees. Then because of the flood slope, the levees require a large base width, and a flood wall is a sort of gravity dam that is constructed along the river. While flood walls are designed to withstand the hydraulic pressure like gravity dams, the full uplift pressure should be considered. Generally, the section is designed for no tension. Basically, I can say at the river front, you can see that vertical wall. Okay, so that is generally a flood wall. Okay, that constructed generally at the bank of the rivers. Then next is the construction of cutoff. In the case of sharp bends in the course of the river, the velocity of the flow and the rate of the discharge is reduced. And during the heavy rainfall, when the large flood discharge approach the sharp bend of the river, it overflows its bank and it submerges the surrounding area. So, cutoff may be constructed in the meandering type river to reduce the travel time, and the water can flow with a high velocity along the strait. Next is the runoff reduction by watershed management. Well, this is an indirect method that is applied to watershed, which has a long-term effect on the flood disaster mitigation. So, if we talk about some watershed management techniques that managements are that afforestation, then contour farming, then contour burns or trenches, constructing a check dams, providing a gullies, then bank protection, diversion drains, strip cropping. So these are the methods we can say for the watershed management. Okay. Thus, the watershed management is a primary part of the soil conservation which help us in mitigating the flood in the watershed, prolonging the life of the reservoir, improving the fertility of the soil, and it also increase the travel time of flood because more magnitude of a peak flood becomes less. Okay, so these are the structural mitigations. Well, now if we talk about some non-structural mitigations, in that case we have the first one, that is the floodplain zoning. Well, for the floodplain zoning, the areas near the river are the most vulnerable for the flood hazard, provided the area are not at the highland. Well, therefore, people should not allow to those flood-prone areas for dwelling houses. So, places below the high flood level should not be recommended for inhabitations. And these areas may be used as the parking, or it can be used as a recreation ground, etc. Okay, so that undulation of such areas may result in saving the life and properties also. Well, the next non-structural mitigation, that is the flood forecasting. Well, here the emergency evacuation of the threatened area is one of the most effective means of reducing the damage due to the flood. under certain circumstances. Once the flood occurs, the normal activities of the society are badly disrupted with an immense losses, and therefore the flood forecasting is a real necessity to minimize the flood havoc. Now, flood forecasting or the warning, if it could be conveyed earlier, disaster due to the probable flood can be minimized to a great extent, while temporary evacuation of persons and shifting the important property to the safer places could be done before the flood arrives. Now, if we talk about the flood proofing, in case where the certain isolated units of a high value are threatened by flooding, they may sometimes be individually flood proofed, and it is essentially consists of a combination of structural change and the emergency actions. Well, structural changes includes construction of the building wall with some waterproofing materials, also closure of lower level windows and providing some means of watertight closure for the doors. Thus even the building may be surrounded by water, the property within that affected area is protected from the damage, and many normal functions can be carried out. In case of an industrial plant that comprising building, storage yards, roads, etc. may be protected by providing a ring leaf or by providing the flood walls. Okay, so that is a flood proofing. Next, there are some few other factors also. Emergency evacuation of area. Well, sometimes emergency evacuation of the threatened area is one of the most effective means of reducing the flood damage. This technique is adopted for sparsely populated area where the property is also low value. So these are to justify other expensive methods of flood control. Loss of life can be also protected by emergency evacuation. Then the management of a floodplain. While the floodplain of a river is formed by sediment deposition or the removal, then which usually occurs due to intermittent overflows of stream above its bank. Such overflows usually occur every 2 or 3 years when the stream occupies some part of the floodplain. Because the floodplain are usually level surface, that they are attractive sites for roads and cities. Well, the last, that is the mathematical modeling. Well, in the flood disaster mitigation measures, mathematical model by computer can predict flood intensity and area inundation, whether it is the flood in the river or a flash flood due to dam break or the dike failure. When the natural flood upstream of a river is known as the mathematical model or the flood routing that can predict the flood intensity at some downstream point of the river, and thus that mathematical modeling technique can alleviate the flood disaster in the river valley. In case of both the natural and dam break flood situation, mathematical model has become a very powerful tool in this time. Okay, so these are some non-structural mitigations. Okay, so in this lecture we have discussed about some structural mitigation and non-structural mitigation. This is a very important topic, so I hope students you will take it very seriously. Okay, thank you so much for your kind attention. We are keeping today's lecture till this topic. Thank you for your kind attention. I will see you in the next lecture.